Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and for returning subscribers, you look smashing today. Thanks for being here as we dive into New World kind of news roundup. It's been a little bit since I posted about this game because currently I'm under NDA, and so there's a lot of stuff I'm ready to talk about and can't wait to share with you, but we're just going to have to wait a little bit before I can actually open up the full book on that one. So what are we talking about today? Looks like we actually have a lot of little leaks and news that are flowing over on the Reddit. I'll include a link to all of this stuff in the description of this video. That way you can go check it out for yourself. But I wanted to kind of give my thoughts, share with you guys the news. Obviously, if you haven't seen, an open beta is coming for New World September 9th through the 12th. This is also going to probably act as a big server stress test, and the release date is still currently set on September 28th. So that is, I think, good news. Overall, we'll let you know. Hopefully that doesn't change. Personally, for me speaking, I am just waiting for another patch notes, kind of just drop on the public. We just finished with Gamescom. Essentially, there was a kind of a Q&A with the developer, and they teased off more what we're believing to be the Void Gauntlet images. Honestly, it all looks rather impressive, and as players like myself really want more magical weapons in the game, we're going to have to dive into that with you guys here in a little bit. But all that being said, it's time we kind of talk about some of these leaks, some of these images, get you guys excited, because a couple of things I've seen over and over again from people in the comments saying, hey, I want daggers. Hey, I want a greatsword. Hey, I want a blunderbuss. And from this image alone, and again, the link will be in the description, you can see here that we've got a blunderbuss, the Void Gauntlet, which should make no surprise, both of these being as a part of various data mines, various leaks, various even images and conversations through the development of New World. And then behind, looks like rocket beans here, you can see dual wielding one-handed weapon for daggers. And so we're also rumored to have pistols. There's so many more weapons that I think the game can obviously add. And if you just look at a UI element perspective without having to get into any kind of scrolling, you could literally probably see 5 weapons per various category easily added to the UI without them having to make massive changes to it overall. Personally speaking, Void Gauntlet sounds incredible. Blunderbuss sounds fascinating. For me, I just wonder if it's going to use standard ammo, or if they're going to introduce a new style of ammo for the blunderbuss itself. And then the daggers itself sound fascinating because a lot of people want that ability to sneak, even though it's already in the game. The fact that you can go prone in this game and really actually hide your tag and more, it's going to lend itself to be something ultimately interesting, in my opinion. But then I see this image, and I think this is where it starts to get interesting. What kind of primary, secondary stat might the Void Gauntlet use? The Ice Gauntlet uses 100% intelligence. If you guys don't know how the stats work, I'll have a more detailed video for you specifically over that function. But you can see here in the artwork, in the images of the screenshot here, you'll see what weapons benefit from it. Now, if your weapon only benefits from one stat, that's basically a 1-to-1 ratio of improvement. But if it benefits from 2 stats, you'll see a 0.9 evaluation on the main stat and a 0.65 on its secondary stat. There's also gathering bonuses for stats as well. So again, like, keep it locked here. Or honestly, New World Fans is a great resource if you guys haven't used them yet. I'll include a link to them from them and Studio Loot in the description of this video, because they've got a lot of things to offer for this game as well. Lots of build opportunity, lots of things to kind of dive in, get your hands tactilely on, on the game virtually in a way, so you can kind of try to plan out your builds. But looks like focus also coming into play with the Void Gauntlet. Currently, focus only being used for the life staff. So it's good to see that we've got plenty of opportunity for focus to being a stat, to having various weapons benefiting from it. And it currently, Constitution not really benefiting any specific weapon, just benefiting your hit points and more. Speaking of which, if you guys have questions about the game, sound off in the comments below. That way I can kind of compile what your questions are, and I can prepare a more in-depth, detailed, frequently asked questions guide for you guys for launch. So sound off below. I'd love to hear from you on what you think in that regards. I think if this ends up being really true here, this is a great opportunity to kind of have that Void Gauntlet really pair well with the life staff, because not much, I mean, you can obviously overpower a sword and shield and life staff build kind of with your paladin in this regards, but to see more stats actually have that even as a secondary stat, I think it's going to be a huge improvement for the game overall. And before we conclude today's video, I want to give some more thoughts, but also I saw this over here on the Reddit talking about kind of a post to maybe try to ease your mind. Is a month enough time for them to have New World ready. And I think the open beta is a real good testament to that. And that's kind of why I want to share this with you guys. Graham West in this regards is stating, as someone who worked and shipped an MMO, I have some insight for you. As a result of the beta, they've probably had a mile-long list of bugs, and most of them are all going to be ended up quick fixes. It's just the sheer volume of them that is the trouble. Don't know when my voice is deciding to fail me. Everything from, if you do this in sequence and this stuff, the UI buttons are going to get grayed out, or the pathfinding wigs out for this enemy type in the area, to frame rate hits the floor if you look at a certain direction and this is out of the place. These can all actually be handled incrementally, and on their own, they're no big deal, but together they make a real impact on the quality of the game. Most of the programmers, designers, artists, and animators will be churning through these bug fixes right now, and QA will be making sure that there are no knock-on bugs. In addition, there are bigger systems and content that we've previously cut from launch. Either they were just de-scoped entirely, so you guys, if scoping and also staging, you can have code that you've actually worked on and it's in the game. It's one of the reasons why you see with data mine, you shelf that. You kind of say, hey, all right, that's not going to be a part of this main branch. We're going to return to it. We're going to kind of check that out and focus it on scoping it when it comes to like, here's the overall we're planning to deliver. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. I apologize. I know I'm not doing it true justice. Other programmers out there may be like, Brian, that's not what scoping is. Anyway, they were cut either de-scoped entirely or pushed to post-launch patch. That's what I'm expecting, or rolled out and to be redesigned for whatever. An extra month is enough time to take a handful of those, depending on how much is left for them to do, and to get into the game for its new launch date. A minority of the team is going to be working on this. Personally speaking, when it comes to, like, I've talked about this at length, I would rather them deliver a solid experience and then all that extra stuff, whether it got cut for launch or whatever, push it to that first patch and have that first patch be a big hitter. Have that first patch come out swinging, setting hopefully a standard for them to obviously follow it up with a second patch and a third patch. Content is king, especially in these living, breathing games such as MMOs. Lastly, delaying the launch by a month pushes the entire live team's work out by a month. Once the game shifts, it needs regular updates to keep people interested, and plenty has already been planned for this, but some will be modified based off of this beta. The live team now has an extra month to build up the content and to plan it to hit the ground running after launch day. Most of the team will be taking downtime after the launch. To manage that transition is tricky, and being able to stretch it out can be quite helpful. The 3 different sets of work with 3 different scopes and 3 different timelines, but the extra month will let them be measurably better. The most immediate benefits will be to diffuse, but they'll matter in terms of retaining players. The further out benefits will be more concrete. Lastly, let's talk money. You can estimate it costs Amazon roughly $15,000 per month per person working on the game, and there's probably 150 such people. That means Amazon is spending well over $2 million to delay the launch. They're hard-headed. They're a hard-headed company, so I think that they'll be confident that they'll make that money back more over, say, the first 2 years than the game from just those improvements alone. And that obviously leaves the question to you guys: how important is the launch of this game? For me, I actually put it at 90%. I think the launch, and then you pair this with a strong first content update, is going to be key, because there's going to be plenty of things pulling people away from the game. A lot of players are going to come into this game because it's hyped, because a lot of people are covering it, content creators such as myself jumping on, especially if people want to watch this kind of content, they'll come and make that kind of content. And as that dies down, people kind of dive down. But what an MMO brings that maybe a single player game doesn't necessarily bring is content updates. And content updates are going to be what either separates Amazon from a top tier MMO to just one of those others that you kind of sit around and you think about, like, hey, I remember that game. What's happened with that game? Oh, maybe we should go check it out. And it turns out either a lot or nothing in this regards. But from the weapons that we already see in the UI, with just 3 alone, not even including the fact that we've also heard rumors that they were even trying to put in a great axe into the launch of this game. Personally speaking, I think this has me very excited to see ultimately what ends up playing out in the long run. As always, guys, I want to know your thoughts. Sound off in the comments if you feel like it. If you feel like I earned it, hit that like button. If you feel like I didn't, hit that dislike button. And if you're new around here and you subscribe with this video, be sure to tell me so I can welcome you officially to the channel. I've got, like I said, New World content that I've got coming up here on the channel. I'm very much excited to share it with you here in the coming weeks. September is almost here. The final countdown. crossing fingers, is likely to be here. Thanks again to all my members who support this channel financially, allowing me to make the content that I really enjoy making. And it really is, it's a great day. Hopefully you guys are having fun. Hopefully this is a fun video for you to kick back and enjoy. I'm going to leave you at that. I'll see you in my next video, but until then, take care.
A little off topic, but I just want to say thank you for providing me a friendly, fun, and optimistic community. Baby. Coming from an MMO community filled with toxicity, this is an amazing breath of fresh air. Keep it up, baby. Oh, yeah.